All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to section number 2 of the course. We're going to be covering every door direct mail, also known as EDDM, which is a great way to get flyers out to your community. So, why would you choose EDDM over a basic flyer dropping method, such as hiring some kid in your town to drop flyers? Believe it or not, it's actually more affordable. So, as well as that, it also goes directly to your prospect's mailbox, which is illegal if you're dropping flyers on your own, just personally in your spare time. You're not actually allowed to leave unverified pieces of mail, like flyers, in mailboxes if you're doing it on your own. This allows you to just bypass that completely. You are also able to target certain routes based by the age of your prospects, their location, and actually how much income they're making. So if you are selling a high ticket item, you can pick the people with the highest income that you want to market to. If you're doing just retaining walls or just hardscapes, you can target the neighborhoods that have the highest income, that have the highest likelihood of purchasing from you. And believe it or not, it's actually cheaper than hiring a flyer dropper. You get to drop really thousands of flyers in a given day based on how many routes you're doing. And if you're just hiring someone off the street and paying them 10 to 15 bucks an hour, the cost for the amount of flyers that's going out is actually much cheaper through every door direct mail than if you were paying someone hourly to drop flyers. So before you start designing your flyers, you actually need to know the size requirements. So go to Vistaprint and select a flyer and its size that you will end up using. And then you want to go to this link and put in that size that you selected and make sure that it is accepted. So if you go to this link, and I'll show you how to do it. So if you go to this link, and you're going to need to create a free account first, they don't ask for any payment details or anything. You can click Mail Piece Size Checker, and it'll pop up with this box. And then what you want to do is you want to select the flyer that you chose on vistaprint.com, and you want to put in those dimensions. You want to put in how long it is and how tall it is. So as you can see here, the length must be between 3.5 inches and 15 inches, and the height must be between 3.5 inches and 12 inches. So for example, we could do 6.5 inches long, 8 inches tall, with a thickness of 0.1 inches. Then it's going to weigh less than 3.3 ounces. It has to. But I doubt you'll be making a flyer that weighs more than that. So you run that check and you see, okay, height must be between 3.5 inches and 12 inches and less than or equal to the length. Okay, so we got to do 8 by 6.5 then. Run check. Everything looks good. So just go check out which flyer you want to do on Vistaprint, put in the dimensions here, make sure everything looks good, and then continue on with your design. You don't want to design something all out and then you realize that the size isn't accepted and you have to start from scratch. So just make sure you're doing that first. And let's dive back into the presentation. So just a quick note on the dimensions that one of these has to be fulfilled. The length has to be greater than 10.5 inches, or the height must be greater than 6.125 inches, or the thickness must be greater than 0.25 inches thick. I always just put in 0.1 inches for the thickness and it's fine. Just some quick pointers so that you don't run into any problems later on. So with your design, you have to include the USPS indicias. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's what they call them. So there are these two little boxes that you have to include on your flyer. So if you just Google USPS retail indicia, you'll be able to find these two boxes and you just have to download them and include them in your design. Really not hard at all. It's just a little requirement. So include one little section on your flyer where you can put these in. They just have to be visible on the front of your flyer so that it's legal for people to put them in mailboxes. Use Canva for your flyer design if you don't already have a graphic design software. If you do, by all means, go for it. But just make sure that you are making it look good, really. I mean, that's sort of what it comes down to. What you want to do is you want to add 0.24 inches to each end. So what this means is if it's 8.5 inches long, you want to make it 8.74 inches long in the design. And what this is going to do is it's going to leave room for the print to bleed. This is just something I learned when printing graphic design materials. You want to leave room for bleed in the printing. So when you go on Vistaprint, you'll select your size. It's actually going to add an extra 0.24 inches on each end. So you just want to include that in your design off the bat. It's going to get cut off when they actually print the design. but it leaves a safe space so that you know where to put your text and your logo and your promotion and all of that stuff. So like I said, this is necessary for the printing portion. They'll cut off the extra space and make sure you keep the important parts in the center and outside of those margins. When designing your flyer, use bright colors, make it look nice, eye-catching. Include your website and contact details, so phone number, email, web address. If you have a mailing address, feel free to include that as well. Use a call to action and a promotion. So get $50 off today if you call this number is a great example. Anything like that you want to run, just make sure you're doing that. Big thing when it comes down to the design, you have to have these two indicias on the flyer, and you also need to add 0.24 inches to each end so that it can account for the print bleed. All of that will get cut off. Just make it look good, guys. Do whatever you want. Canva's a really easy option. It's all drag and drop. So you should have a pretty easy time there. And then, yeah, let's get on to the next portion. So printing, super easy. You've already selected which flyer you're going to use, the size and everything. So all you really need to do is upload that design to Vistaprint on that flyer. Make sure that everything looks good. Give it a quick preview before you send it off to print. Select your desired quantity and order it, and then you wait for them to show up. After that, we get into actually sending the flyers. So once your flyers come in from Vistaprint, you want to sort them into bundles of 100, and you want to rubber band them up. So what I like to do with this is if I have multiple thousands of flyers come in, I'll put one stack in a stack of 100. I'll put tape on both ends so it holds it together and it's, like tight and compressed into a stack of 100. I'll put that on my desk. I'll bring out the other stacks of flyers. I'll take out approximately the same amount. I'll line it up next to that original stack. I'll look at it side by side. If the height is the same, I know that I have the right amount of flyers. I put a rubber band around that. I put it to the side and I keep going. So use one stack as a reference and then just sort of stack flyers next to it. It's not absolutely necessary that you have exactly 100 flyers per package. That's sort of just the general number that they need. It doesn't matter if you have 102 or 98 or 105 or something like that. That's just generally what they need. So use a reference stack, stack up your flyers next to it, rubber band them into bundles of 100 flyers. So then you want to go to the USPS EDDM online tool, which is the same link that we were at before. And then you want to select the route where you want to send your flyers to. So like I said, you can sort this by age, location, and income. So whatever you want to do, whatever you think best is for your targeting and your services, select the routes that you want. And then what you need to do is you need to print out one facing sheet for every stack of 100 flyers. So if you have a route that has 600 odd flyers in it, you need to print out 6 facing sheets, one for each bundle. Then what you need to do is you need to print out one mailing statement per route. So if you have 600 flyers in a route, you have 6 bundles, 6 facing sheets, and one mailing statement for those 6 bundles. These are both found on the confirmation page once you select the routes you'll be sending to, and then you just need to fill out the paperwork and put it in the bundles, and then you should be good to go. So for the facing sheet, what you need to do is you need to put in your company name, the date that you will be dropping them off. This isn't super important. The total number of mail pieces per bundle, so that would be 100, and then the total number of bundles. So 1 out of 6, 2 out of 6. However many bundles you're using, just put it down with the right number. Then this is the mailing statement. This is going to go in the top bundle. It's going to be what they take out. They're going to scan this barcode. So this needs to be ready, available to the people at the post office. So you're going to check mark EDDM retail indicia. It's going to tell you right here which post office you're going to be mailing these from. So you actually need to go in and drop them off, and it's going to tell you where to do that. It also says that on the facing sheet up here. You need to fill out the total number of bundles, the total number of pieces per bundle. So if you have 6 bundles, it would be total number of bundles 6, total number of pieces per bundle 100. Then you need to sign down here. You need to print your name, and you need to put in your cell phone number. That's all you got to do. And then you just bring them in. So like I said, you put the facing slip in the top of each bundle. You put the mailing statement with the facing slip on the top bundle in your stack. Then you take them to the post office. That is, again, labeled on the facing slip and the mailing statement. You pay at the post office. They'll handle the rest. They'll send everything out with their postman. And you just got to get ready for phone calls at this point. volume is key here. You really just want to send out a lot of them to the right areas, and you should be good to go. This has been super profitable for the business that I was working at. We had a great time booking tree service jobs with this method, and we got a lot of traffic. So yeah, that's all I got for EDDM. In the next course, we're going to be covering cost per acquisition, cost per lead, and some other KPIs. So stay tuned for that.